Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, a completely non-related rant. And then we'll get to the usual. All right. I'm sorry, I know I've gone off on this before, but it bugs me. You know what this is going to be about, right? Believe all women. Can I explain why this is completely illogical and non-coherent? Say you've got two opposing women, right? And they're in an argument. Each one spouting off what they call their truth. If you go under that hashtag, this idea, this narrative, maybe it's just my autistic ass being extremely literal, so maybe explain it to me like I'm 5. Which one are we supposed to believe? Under this narrative, you're supposed to believe both women, right? You would think. No, though, that's not how these individuals operate. It's believe all women until said woman disagrees with your bullshit. Then it's let's demonize, tar, and feather them. Right? Right? This is why hashtags like this do not work. While they're illogical on the face of them. I would rather live in a world where people would believe evidence. People believe facts. Now, are there going to be situations in abusive households where evidence can't be gathered? Sure there are. I'm not going to sit here and gaslight you and tell you that that never happens. However, you have a narrative that has developed that on the face of it is illogical, that has been used against people who are entirely innocent. It's been used like a weapon, like a bludgeon to ram down our throats in this insane, illogical agenda. Because it doesn't make sense, folks. This whole idea, this concept that I'm just supposed to believe what anybody says is their truth. I've explained why I hate the term my truth. There is no your truth. That was just something made up so that individuals could say with their whole chest some make-believe bullshit that they created in their heads to make themselves feel better. Okay, Karen, I get it. It's a fucking difficult world out there for all of us. However, when your truth infringes on the truth, that's when it's time for reality to come smack you upside the head. Okay? You don't get to use your truth to beat me over the head with it. I don't have to buy what you're selling. Okay? It's illogical because when you think about it, take that scenario again. You got two women arguing, both of them fully believing in their truth. Right? Then my bitch ass walks up. Someone grabs me and says, "Hey, what do you think? Whose side are you on?" I say, "Neither. I'm on the side of facts, logic, things that make coherent sense, evidence." Now I'm the bad guy. Right? Right? You make these hashtags, you ram these insane ideas down our throats, and you just expect us to go along. Then you made a resistant, immovable object. an individual who has been through horrific shit and has seen even more horrific shit from individuals who are real victims with the ER documents and tapes and hell, in the case of the JRC, literal video evidence to back it up. I've seen such individuals, Johnny Depp being one of them, be demonized in spite of the irrefutable evidence they put up for their own case. You can't believe all women any more than can you just believe all humans, because humans lie. Okay? This is a fact. If you don't believe me, take a crash course in all of human history. This is what makes courts of law important. This is what makes evidence and facts gathered during an investigation important. This hashtag would have me just throw that all out the window and have insane bitches be able to speak for me. As an autistic, I have spent the entirety of my life having dumbass bitches thinking they have the right to speak for me. They're usually neurotypical. They usually have more money than sense and are the epitome of self-entitled. So no. Any more than I let the right try to dictate to me, you, the left, are not also going to dictate to me. I'm not just going to believe anyone. Okay? Facts matters. Evidence matters. And you know what? These people have the right to prove their cases before you go and destroy their whole fucking lives. I can't deal with this illogic. I really can't. I don't care who you are. Some celebrity or Joe Schmo down the fucking street. I believe evidence. I believe what can be proven. I believe in facts. Okay? Been that way since I was a baby. And no, I do not have to just back whatever woman MSN tells me I have to, or any of the rest of the media for that matter. You don't get to go on the news and dictate, this person is your sister. No. No, Karen. She's really fucking not. Really fucking not. Whether it's Avon, Rachel Wood, or it's AH, or it's any of them. No, they're not. Jennifer Masumba is my sister. Andre McCollins is my brother. These are the people who have lived, who've had similar life experiences to myself. These are the people who have been horrifically tortured, who have a lot of fucking evidence to back it up. These are my people. And I will fight for them until the day I fucking croak. I will never fight for an agenda. I will, however, fight for our right to live in a world where we don't have to fear being dragged off to one of these torture centers that they call schools. I will fight for a world where completely innocent fucking drag queens doing nothing fucking wrong are being targeted. I fight for a world of logic and reason. Even when these days it seems to be a losing battle. That's the hill I'm willing to die on. where actual atrocities are being committed every day and the world turns a blind eye to it, that's where you'll find me. All right. Now to the disclaimers. In the description box, folks, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they have interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so folks, you know the drill. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. You'll also find linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC has the balls to see through with their threat. We also have the Ozark's first article in regards to the Agape boarding school / now known as Stone for Help boarding school. This is a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has and pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it. All of these have been substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services and the hard evidence gathered during their investigation, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor still on the premises up on multiple, again, substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general that is too busy being obsessed with drag queens to do his job to actually protect kids from proven pedophiles. And you've got a governor who has lost his fucking marbles. Send help. Paul, all our friends, send help. Send help. There are still some of us here who have coherent, logical minds that, I don't know, send a rescue party. Fucking something. Alright. Please share that article on all your social media. We got the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the Jennifer Masimba's behavioral sheet on shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCullens, and the ever-present self-explanatory Change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you do got young children present, please go ahead and use your headphones, all right? All right, this channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously, parental supervision is advised. All right. Okay, we are about to, trigger warning, descend once again into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You remember him, right, Mr. I can prove I'm right by this paper that I wrote that shows I'm right? Yeah, that guy. You're going to hear gaslighting, victim blaming, lies, pseudoscience, enough ableism and bigotry to go around the world a few times, all coming from a man with a massive ego and an even larger God complex. So be prepared for the stupid, all right? Okay, so let's go where we left off last video. The only other student in partial mechanical restraint wears arm tubes to prevent him from pulling out his teeth. Again, he's using that shock factor, folks. Let's talk about this before we get into it, shall we? This is a tactic that Dr. Matthew Israel and all his acolytes use. They want to justify what they're doing before they go into their argument, and they do so by pulling these scenarios essentially out of their ass. But if we don't, then they'll pull out his teeth, and I'm to take your word for that. Mr. I got caught while telling my staff to destroy evidence. Sure, Karen. And am I saying this shit never happens? No. I'm autistic. I have engaged in self-abuse while in meltdown. Still do when in meltdown. It's a sad fact of life that is a part of my diagnosis, the not so fun side. However, he's not telling you the full truth. He will tell you about certain situations. He will not tell you about the other situations where people were bound and gagged for no fucking reason at all. Like Andre McCollins for refusing to remove his coat. So threatening. Oh my God, he won't remove my coat. Whatever shall I do? Should I go hide in a closet? Yeah. Truth is, the doctor does this to any kid he doesn't like. Even some of them that he does like. The dude's a psychopath, all right? He will give you just enough truth for you to bite what he's selling. What he won't tell you is the majority of those kids that they have strapped up like Hannibal Lecter is all due to the fact that if they left them out, those kids would be running for the fucking hills as fast as their legs can carry them. That's the actual truth. But no, he's going to pick on this one guy, right? Right. Same shit, different day. He's a danger of pulling the rest of them out. The stiff arm tubes that are used with him are not considered to be a restraint under NSAID regulations. Instead, they are classified as health-related support. Oh, are you really going to tell the New York Special Ed Department what their regulations are? Again, the balls on this guy, the arrogance. You really going to dictate to New York what their regulations are? Cute. Real cute, doctor. In his case, the only reason he needs the arm tubes is that JRC is unable to use skin shock because of current NSAID regulations. Again, demonizing them because they refuse to allow their students to be tortured. Cute, doctor. So instead, we're just going to bind them up all the time, and it's all their fault because if they just let us torture them, this wouldn't happen. For fuck's sake. His parents are also participating in a suit in the federal district court, asking the judge to allow adversive so that his self-abusive behavior can be treated. It's not treatment, doctor. You're not treating anything. To all those people who defend this shit, this is not treatment. It is punishment, and there's a fucking difference. It doesn't become treatment because you say it is, doctor. When a man who has done nothing fucking wrong is strapped to a 4-point board over 7 hours, they're shocked over and over and over again. That's not treatment. Making a kid forcibly wear a torture device wherever he fucking goes is not treatment. You want to know how you treat self-injurious behavior? Again, I remind you, I've worked in the field, doctor. You want to know the real medicine? Allow me to tell you how it actually works in the real fucking world. You get to the root of what's causing the behavior. In the instance that an autistic is harming themselves, and it's not in the manner of a meltdown. The very few limited incidences that I've had this issue have been due to severe sensory issues. What do you do in these situations when it's due to insane amount of sensory issues overwhelming a person? Do you put them on a torture device until they scream and beg? No, there's a very simple, logical solution. It's not an easy one. It takes time, but it's going to get the best results. You find out what's wrong. These behaviors don't simply come out of nowhere, no matter what people like Dr. Matthew Israel want to tell you. Nor do they come because we're trying to manipulate anyone. Fucking spare me, doctor. How do we deal with these sensory issues? How have you dealt them with your life, Tiffany? Well, I'm glad you asked. First, you got to go down the rabbit hole. In my case, it was a lot of self-analyzing. Okay, why am I freaking out? What are these sensations? What is causing these sensations? What can be done to help prevent this before I go into that type of behavior? Logical thinking, analytical thinking. This is the shit I'm known for. Then you introduce reasonable accommodations. For example, I cannot wear certain types of fabric. Wearing certain types of fabric will cause me an insane amount of what feels to me horrendous physical pain, along with the itching. And if I wear them long enough, it will prompt hives and all kinds of manner of skin issues. So what was introduced into my program? Getting rid of all those types of clothing that was causing the sensory issues. And wouldn't you know it, the digging into my skin stopped. Crazy, right? Now, just a little bit of logical thinking, instead of, torturing me, actually managed to get to the root of the issue and provide a solution. So not only am I not engaging in that behavior, but the root issue was also taken care of as well. Crazy, right? It really is that simple, folks. It's not easy. It can get more complicated depending on what the issues are that are triggering the behavior. Very true. But most things in life are complicated. Not everything, but a lot of things. Simple fixes don't work. Dr. Matthew Israel wants you to believe that they do. In fact, he has $250,000 a school year on your particular student writing on him selling you this bullshit lie. In real life and real medicine, you delve to the root cause. You find what reasonable accommodations and coping mechanisms can be used in such situations. Again, noise-canceling headphones for the grocery store. Maybe not make the kid wear the type of clothing and fabric that causes such sensory issues that lead to meltdown or otherwise self-injurious behavior. Provide coping mechanisms, breathing exercises. Even allow them to stim. Horror, I know. As a reason and a mechanism of self-coping that we ourselves develop over time. And wouldn't you know it, the self-injurious behaviors get down to a minimum. Now, unlike Dr. Matthew Israel parents, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that your kid is never going to self-harm again. Because I'm not a liar. It's going to happen. Meltdowns are going to happen. You can bring them down to a minimum like I have in my own life, but they're going to happen. Don't buy the lies. There is no simple solutions. Excuse me, allergies. There's a right way and a wrong way to go about things when it comes to medical treatment. It is a simple answer of slapping a torture device there to just punish you for the behaviors while leaving the root issue undealt with does nothing but add trauma on top of the issues that are already there. It's nonsensical. The preferred behaviors will only last as long as that fear factor is still present. If you want lasting results, the core issue needs to be dealt with. This is basic logic 101. So no matter how extreme the situation may be, you've got to go about things logically. You can't just go and torture someone because they're not behaving in a way that I prefer. Find out what's wrong. I don't know how many times I've said it, but I'm going to say it again. Behavior is communication. Behavior is communication. I'll say it again. Behavior is communication. There's a root cause, always. Just because, but Tiffany, they're not verbal and they're throwing things and they're smearing shit on the walls and there is no logic there. Oh, but there is. There is logic there. It might be harder for you to find. But again, even those most of those behaviors that they use as fucking scare tactics every fucking April, there's causes. There's a root cause. And if you are willing to take the time, instead of harming the child with another quick fix, you will find that it has results, as I have, as many of the others who I helped to oversee have. And yes, doctor, nonverbal and so-called severe. We're going to close on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit those comments. I do appreciate your time, and as always, we here at Smelling Tea do hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.